What's your best parenting advice?
I wasn't
Beat
prepared.
the crap out of them.
I didn't know there were going to be gotcha questions.
I didn't either.
Parenting advice. I guess I've told this story before. When my oldest was really young, we had gone home to South Carolina, and my parents gave him this John Deere pedal tractor. And It was very heavy. And we bring it home, and where we used to live, I had a shop, and then the driveway kind of went downhill a little bit, like towards our garage. And so he was trying to pedal this tractor, and he was just going all over the place. And I'm like, can you just pedal it and drive it in a straight line? Like, and he's probably 4 or 5 years old. And I'm just hammering him, just, getting on to him, fussing at him. And finally he just stops, and he looks up at me with those blue eyes and just says, "Daddy, help me." And, and I was like, it just hit me right between the eyes, because I was like, okay. And so I bent down and tried to steer I couldn't even hardly steer the stupid tractor.
Yeah.
And so I understood all of a sudden why he was having so much trouble. And so from that point on, I realized, like, you can't expect a 5-year-old to do what a grown-up can do or whatever. Like, you have to allow them to be their age. You can't expect them to be older or younger or whatever. Like, you have to just, if they're 14, if they're 17, if they're 25, whatever, you have to put yourself in their position. Like, what was I like, and what kind of help did I need when I was that age?
That's right.
Because there's so many parents that expect their children to just do grown-up things, and they're not there yet. They're not developed yet, and so
that's right. Even little boys,
they need your help.
They need your help, and little boys are precious. They need their mom as much as they need their dad. And that is such a sweet story. So, I don't know. I would say
what's your best parenting advice?
Well,
since you have you got like 16 children?
No, I just have 3. Just 3. Sometimes it felt like 16 when we were all on the road. As a mother, my biggest parenting advice is raise your children, and have them with you. If you have a career like mine, where I was on the road, I just took them with me everywhere. To the chagrin of a lot of people that worked with me. Like, oh my God, I mean, it's such a big deal to go anywhere, because she's got 3 little babies. But I just wanted.
But you don't get those years back.
You don't get those years back, and my career would not have meant anything to me if I hadn't done that. And the second thing I think is to always respect your children. If you show them respect, and you'll get it back, meaning don't yell at them. I was very disciplined. I spanked them, and I felt like I was a really good parent. And you want your kids to grow up to be someone that people like, and want them to be kind, and teach them about the Lord, of course, and pray that they get saved at a young age. But I think my main thing is to show them respect, and not scream at them and lose your temper, and
do not exasperate your children.
That's right. Yep. That is right.
That meant a lot to me once I learned what exasperate meant.
Yeah, exasperate is, but it's true. You should never do that.
No,
you should never do that.
And I have done that a lot, and it's almost like you can remember each and every time it happened, because you felt so guilty afterwards.
Oh, it's written on your heart and in your gut, and it makes you just want to die.
Yeah. So it's there's that, which I think is taking it too far, and then there's also, like, some people would probably think that I was actually in the military the way I raised my children, because I expect them. It's like I was talking about my band earlier. It's like I have standards,
right? And
you need to measure up to the standards. And usually the standard is you do the best that you can do. Don't look at your brother and try to do his best. You do your best,
right?
And if I see my boys slacking off or disobeying or whatever, if they're having attitude problems, like, you're going to lose your privileges or worse. And people always talk about how well behaved my children are. It's like, they better
That's
be.
great. Yeah, exactly.
Because I try to run a tight ship. I let them have liberties and freedoms and all that, but they know who rules the roost at our house, and I look at them now, and I'm so thankful that I was that way, because I see the way they carry themselves, and I'm like, wow, that actually worked.
Yeah, it does work, and it makes them feel safe.
Yeah,
it makes them feel so safe.
Yeah. I remember a time, you're talking about carrying your children on the road. You've probably been on a plane or two with young children, when they were babies, and so you're making the descent, and their ears start, getting, painful or whatever, and they start crying and everything. And I was on a plane one time coming from somewhere, and it was me and Jennifer and my guys sitting in kind of the back of the plane, and Hampton just started bawling, like his ears were hurting him, and we're making our descent, and there was this guy 2 rows in front of us on the plane. I saw him like mocking Hampton, like making fun of him. I stood up, like it was the time where you supposed to be sitting down with your seatbelt on or whatever. I got up in that aisle, and I called that dude out. I was like, do it one more time. Like I was like,
good for you.
I was like, do it one more time and see what happens. And everybody around us was like, oh crap. Like the protective father came out in me. I mean, I just saw red. It's like, I can't believe how immature he's acting.
Absolutely.
It's like this child back here is not, like, he can't control what's going on.
He's a baby. I did the same thing. We were coming back from Hawaii, and Avery was crying, and this girl kept looking at me because she was like trying to sleep, and she would look every time. And I finally like screamed at her the same way. And I go, this is not your bedroom. Like, there's no guarantee that you can sleep. Like, I have a baby here, know?
Yeah, I told that dude, I was like, you turn your head around, and I was like, I don't want to even see you look this way again.
Good for you.
And then everybody, I sat back down, everybody kind of turned back looking their way, and my front of house guy, he taps me on the knee, and he was like, good job.
Yeah, good for you. That is awesome.
So,